This is Finland. The 20th century started off with Finland being a part of the Russian Empire, and they were the first country in the world to give voting rights to women back in 1906. But the problem is that Finland was a part of Russia, so people were instead saying that the Russian Empire was the first to give voting rights to women. Not Finland. For a majority of World War I, the Russians were busy fighting off the Germans, and then the Soviets took over and they started fighting off the Germans, and on December the 6th, 1917, Finland gained its independence from the Soviet Union. What is weird to me is that the Soviet Union didn't react to Finland gaining its independence until 2 months later in February of 1918, and that's when the Finnish Civil War started. Okay. Hey, what are you doing? But Finland wasn't done yet. They worked with the UK to fight for the Baltic countries against the Soviet Union to make sure that even the Baltic countries are independent, and that it stays that way. At the start of World War II, Finland was neutral, but the Soviet Union later demanded that they build a naval base in the town of Hanko, and Finland didn't want them to do that. Hey, you're the one who didn't let us build a naval base in Hanko, and why is that? I said no, because I want to stay neutral to World War II. And I also don't want to face severe consequences for supporting a country like you. If you don't let us build a naval base in any one of your towns, let alone Hanko, we're gonna rip you to shreds. And then for all of winter, Finland and the Soviet Union were busy fighting in the Winter War. And fun fact, Finland was actually the country where the Molotov cocktail was invented. The Soviets couldn't take over Finland, and the Finnish couldn't stop having to defend themselves from the Soviet Union trying to occupy them. So both sides of the war had no other choice but to sign a peace treaty on March 12, 1940. In 1941, Operation Barbarossa kicked in, where the Germans were stupid enough to invade the Soviet Union. And then the Soviets invaded Finland in that same year, and then the Germans defended Finland, and they both made alliances with each other. But Finland wasn't formally an Axis member. And in 1944, that's when Finland fought against Germany, and it was like that for the rest of World War II. And in 1948, both Finland and the Soviet Union signed the Treaty of Moscow. This means that Finland will be losing territory to the Soviet Union, such as a couple islands in the Gulf of Finland, the Kusama provinces, and the Karelian fields, and so on and so forth. And this also means that Finland will from now on be neutral to the Cold War. In 1955, Finland would join the Nordic Council, and in 1956, the Soviet Union would give back the Porkala Peninsula to Finland, and they quickly recovered. And in 1968, Finland improved its education system, and it actually became the best education system in the world, and still is today. Nothing happened in the 70s or in the 80s, but in 1991, Linus Torvalds from Finland made Linux, and in 1995, Finland joined the European Union. In 2002, Finland would adopt the euro as their currency, and the Nokia phone started to blow up in the same decade, which is weird to me because it was actually made in 1982. What happened? Did they lag out? Did they freeze? What is going on? And in 2008, Martti Ahtisaari, the 10th president of Finland, won a Nobel Peace Prize for general planetary peacemaking. And also, in 2009, Angry Birds was released. And it was also made in Finland. Did you guys know that? In 2017, Finland was celebrating its 100th year anniversary of its independence from the Soviet Union, and as a gift to Finland, Norway decided to give away half of the peak of the mountain Halti to Finland. And finally, on April 4th, 2023, Finland became the latest country to join NATO. Nowadays, Finland is a winter wonderland that attracts millions of tourists every year, and even though it's the poorest Nordic country in comparison to other Nordic countries, that still doesn't take away the fact that it's got a really good economy, am I right guys? Once again, it's got the best education system in the world, and it's also ranked the happiest country in the world. Sadly, I won't be making any more history videos simply because I lost interest in it and I no longer feel motivated to make any history videos. I'll still continue the content that I make nowadays that have nothing to do with history or country balls as a whole. But history videos? Nah, I'm not continuing that because I'm no longer obsessed with history at all. Anyway, do widzenia.